the fact that you and I did not want to go there and what that turned out to be is a huge lesson in just life in general, right? Like, if you try to control everything in your life, you're never going to be open to those times that you're supposed to go into, that you're supposed to experience, that you would be closed off to, that can end up being life-changing.
Yeah, 100%.
What's up? Welcome back to the Freedom and Scrubs podcast. We are your hosts, Kim and Aaron G. Your favorite travel couple. Wow. We didn't rehearse that at all.
I think that's perfect.
It was good. It's a good little intro.
Merry Christmas Eve.
Yes.
Because this will be coming out on Christmas Eve.
Wow, I can't believe that's like a couple days away.
I will be currently, when this comes out, I will be working. Yay!
I will be too.
I'll be working Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. Woo!
Which is crazy because you'll be working Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. I won't work Christmas Day, but then you have off New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and the day after, and I'm on call and working those days.
Yeah, bah humbug.
I know.
Merry freaking Christmas.
Yeah, for real. That's part of the life.
Part of travel life. But you know what? Here's the thing. Gotta work Christmas, making that holiday pay. What?
Yep,
right?
yep.
But we were both off for 3 weeks for Thanksgiving, where we got to be with our families and have that time.
Correct.
Grateful for that. And
100%.
You know.
It's all about perspective.
Ain't like we're doing anything for Christmas either. We didn't even get a treat.
No. Speaking of perspective, for a lot of you that follow along with us on a daily, which you all should, I mean, it's like mandatory.
At Kim and Aaron G on Instagram.
Kim and Aaron G on Instagram. You know that every Sunday we do Gibson Soul Sunday, where we watch something inspiring, a podcast. Mainly, it's usually a podcast from Tom Bilyeu Impact Theory or Lewis Howes School of Greatness. That's pretty much
our two go-tos.
That's our go-tos, and we felt really led this morning to watch a Lewis Howes podcast, and it's with Rory Vaden, who is one of my favorite people in general. Just his business coaching, just his overall mentality. But we watched that podcast, and it literally opened up a whole new perspective, something we've been feeling, opened up the can for us, and it's just really exciting to start your day on a positive note like that.
Yeah, it was exactly the podcast we needed, which is so funny because we're like, oh my gosh, it couldn't have been any more perfect for where we were, and what it put words to how we were feeling, and it allowed us, it opened up this really beautiful conversation that we were able to have, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. And it just goes back to, you know, we're huge proponents of this, of starting your day off with something inspiring that makes you feel good, that cracks you open in some way, whether it's a podcast. Like I literally have a 30-minute drive every morning to work. I listen to a podcast on my way to work, having coffee, and it just sets me up. Like, it sets me up to win. It's something that inspires me or gets me thinking in some way or feeling good in some way. And it helps me walk into work, like, ready to take on the day with just a positive attitude, a more positive attitude. And, I don't know. I just can't stress that enough.
With the information age, we have the ability to follow along, to be inspired by things we never thought possible from any given person. Yeah. And I think that's really cool because there's a niche for everyone. There's a subculture for everyone. It's not just like, oh, only a certain number of people listen to podcasts because they get something from it. It's like there's something for everybody, and it's just about finding what it is that you're inspired by that gets you feeling like I feel now. Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you how I feel. It's just a feeling that I have. It's a vibe, and that's available to everybody. Yeah. At any time.
Totes.
So take advantage of it.
100%. Find the people you like to follow, whatever it is. There's literally like podcasts on horror movies or like... Well... Okay, we don't recommend...
Right, but I'm saying like go for something that expands your thinking.
Yes.
Right? That challenges your thought process currently.
Yep. 100%. And I love that we're going down like a total side note right now, but like... Or what do we call it? Side street? Because we're travelers.
A scenic route?
Oh yeah, scenic route. But there really is like a niche for everything. Like I just found yesterday, there's a travel couple that I love that I follow, Kara and Nate, And
you said it right.
I know. I usually say Nara and Kate.
Nara and Kate.
I don't know why I always do every time. But watching them led me to this other chick, which led me to somewhere else. And there's a whole like YouTube like community all about flight attendants, teaching behind the scenes of being of a flight attendant and the life of a flight attendant and all that. And it's so...
Which I would have scrolled right by.
Right, but I'm like, you know, people who know me, like, it used to be a dream of mine to be a flight attendant. And I'm so, like, interested in that lifestyle. And, yeah, it just, like, it excites me and inspires me in its own way. But it was like, there's a whole subculture just on YouTube about flight attendants. Like, I don't know. It's just really cool. So whatever you're into... Because of the internet, there's a place to find your people in your community and to connect with them and to be inspired and all the things. So anyways.
And like I said, you're personally doing yourself a disservice for not utilizing it.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
They make it too easy.
So this episode, Kim and I have been doing a lot of healthcare traveler trainings, little takeaways. Just the tip was our series that we were doing. So this one we were like, you know what, we want to get back to the fun. It's Christmas Eve that this is releasing, so we just wanted to answer one of the major questions we get all the time. Yeah,
we just want to keep this fun and have it be kind of more of like an entertainment thing than a learning thing, because it's Christmas Eve and people
there's always
are
a lesson
wasted, though. Obviously. But one of the questions that we always get is, where is your most favorite place that you've ever traveled to?
Yeah.
And as travelers, all of us know, we get asked this all the time, and it's the hardest question to answer because everywhere we go has its own something special to take away from and its own experience. And so we thought on this episode it would be fun to chat about one of our assignments that was a place that we thought would have been our least favorite.
I didn't want to go.
It's very unassuming. It's very, we never would have thought this would have been one of our favorite spots.
Before we dive directly into the question, the reason we get the question a lot of times for all of you that haven't joined us before is we are healthcare travelers. We've been traveling for 7.5 years now. But not only do we travel in healthcare and taking contracts all across the United States, we also travel a lot overseas for fun and pleasure. So we've been to a lot of places. But in the past 7 years, we've been to Atlanta, Wisconsin, Seattle, San Diego, San Francisco, Burlingame, Bellingham, Orlando, Connecticut. So we've been around.
We've been around the block.
So when people hear that, that's why they ask, where's your most favorite place you've been? Right? And that's what led us to this whole thing.
Well, because we were talking, I just got asked this question yesterday at work. And I'm just like, I don't know. And so we always kind of go into it and we get into a conversation around different stories that come up about the different places we've been. And so Aaron and I were talking about it this morning, and all the stories that we were talking about were from this one place that we never really say was one of our favorites, but it really was in so many different ways.
Yeah.
And so we're like, let's just talk about this place because it's really awesome. But what I wanted to say was that as a traveler, having an open mind on this adventure and just allowing the adventure to lead the way and staying open and not getting so focused on I have to go here, I have to go to Hawaii, I have to go to San Diego, I have to go to New York or whatever, wherever your destinations are, because we all have the places we want to go. And that's important too, to, try to make a plan to get there.
Yeah.
But it's also about just completely staying open to the journey, because places that you're led to, the most unexpected places end up being some of your favorite places that you would never have chosen to go to. But you show up and you're like, wow, I was totally meant to be here, and I never would have pointed to it on a map.
Correct. And I think that it kind of relates to the podcast we're listening to this morning, but it was a really good analogy to that is, like Kim said, it's not that you don't want to plan, because we had things on our vision board of places we wanted to go, but it's about having faith, right? And not just faith in the religious form, just faith in general of just trusting and believing in the plan, right? And whatever you believe, whatever your religious notion is, or however you go about your life, it's fine. But basically looking at it, as Rory even said, when you look down a long hallway and you see one door, you go all in and you make your way to that door, and if that door is locked, you turn to the left. There could be another door, but way back in the hallway, you never saw it until you actually walked to that door that was locked. And I think that's a really cool thing for healthcare traveling is, like I said, Kim and I had all these places in our minds we wanted to go. We always said we wanted to go to California. We made everything possible. I did the California registry. Mm-hmm. It was a big process. And then these, at the time, you had Juneau, Alaska, and Janesville, Wisconsin as your... Fairbanks, Alaska, and Janesville, Wisconsin as your two options.
For that day.
Right.
And that's the thing with traveling is that jobs pop up every single day. Mm-hmm. So every day there will be different things, and it's like once you lock something in, then you're committed to that job. And if something like
if
Hawaii,
you have integrity,
right. I mean, that's once you verbally agree, like you're giving them your word, and now they're no longer searching for a traveler. And so yes, once you give a verbal commitment, like you're in.
Yeah.
And so, Alaska and Wisconsin were the jobs that were up that day. And again, mind you, this is for winter. This isn't summer, or it would have been a no-brainer. Hello, Alaska. Like that's been on our list for a while. But this is winter. And the next day, Hawaii could have popped up, right? But Janesville, Wisconsin, what a special hidden gem of this country.
I agree.
Okay? It is. So, okay, obviously that's
the place.
That's the place. Yeah, I don't think we led up to that.
Yeah, we did. It's all right. Yeah.
That's the place. So, Janesville, Wisconsin was my very first travel assignment. Our first assignment in a whole was Atlanta for Aaron. He went to Emory, and then I was up. And my first job was in Janesville, Wisconsin. And so...
Mind you, that means that's my first time off.
Yeah. Okay.
So then I'm like, screw this. This sucks.
Yeah. So Aaron was off, and I was working. And I was working at...
Wait, you showed up at a facility for 12 hours. You weren't working.
I mean, I think that I did 10 patients total for the 5 months I was there. It was insane. And coming from a place... that Aaron and I both worked at Baptist in Jacksonville, Florida. Coming from facilities that were busy. Like
10 cases before lunch.
Yeah, I was busy. I was in a busy department. And so coming from a place like that to Janesville, Wisconsin, where we did nothing. No patients. Nothing. And the only patients we did came from the ER and inpatients. We didn't do any outpatients. And it was a very small hospital, a very small town. Mm-hmm. Like, I really think that there was, like, horse tie-ups. Like, it was, like, a one-horse town. Mm-hmm. There was nothing there. And it was a big farming town. But in the winter, because it was snowing, it was just wide open spaces with just snow on top because all the farms...
Well, I mean, mind you this, I was off for 3 months. I'm a big fan of golf and different sporting events. We lived next to a golf course that I never knew existed. I thought it was just like an open area. But when we went through and the snow melted, I was by this beautiful golf course the whole time, which I could have never went because there was feet of snow.
Yeah.
But it was just funny to be like, oh my God, I had a golf course right there the whole time and I didn't even know it.
Yeah. And one of the coolest things is we are from Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. That's another funny part of it. So we're from Florida, and I'm from Rhode Island. Originally.
I'm from California.
You're from Cali originally.
We both spent over half, 3/4 of our lives in Florida. Yeah, we're Floridians.
So, I mean, I had seen the snow plenty of times. But we had another cool thing about traveling is that a lot of people start traveling to get a sense of the country and get a feel for places that they might want to live and explore. So in the very beginning, we were thinking, hey, maybe one day we would want to settle in New England.
I'm Northeast.
Obsessed with New England. I'm obsessed with Rhode Island. Always have been, a special place in my heart. And we thought, well, maybe we will. How cool to be. We like snow. Snow's cozy. Snow's fun. Like, change of seasons.
Snow's different.
Yeah, especially coming from Florida, where it's the tropics all year round.
Snow is exotic to Floridians that haven't lived in snow.
Well, right. And like the weather, you don't get seasons in Florida. Nothing changes. So there was this like allure to it. We were like, ooh, it's going to snow, right? This is so cool. And so we pull in, like literally like skidding in. I remember the first time we saw snow, we were driving to Wisconsin in Paducah, Kentucky, and we pulled into Olive Garden. And there was a pile of old, gnarly, like, yellow... brown ice. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh my gosh, it's snow. Remember?
We put Mimi in it immediately.
Of course, we made her jump in it. And then we're, like, taking selfies of us. And it was, like, literally a pile of snow that was...
scraped off of the parking lot.
But we were, like, so excited. Yeah. We're like, yay, snow. And then we get there, and we, like, skid in. And it just opened up our eyes to so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say that we can like check the box of I don't want to live in a place that snows like that.
Well, I take that. I mean, so I would say that I would live in an apartment in New York. Right. So I don't want to live anywhere that I have to commute and drive long distances.
Ever leave the house.
Right. Yeah, so when we're running our business from home,
then we can live
that
there.
Sounds a lot more fun.
Yeah, or we can always go to Florida.
But not being on call, not having to go to a hospital, not having to trudge through the snow.
So I literally worked across the street from our apartment. Mm-hmm. I'm not even exaggerating. It was across the street.
Oh yeah, I could see when you walk in.
Yeah.
From where we lived.
It was across the street. It would take me sometimes like 30 minutes to get there because I would like fishtail the whole way to work screaming and crying. And like I would fly off the road. And I mean fly, I was going like 5 miles an hour. But I would like, if it was actively snowing and stuff and like the plow people hadn't come through. And I would like pull into work like fishtailing. And of course like everybody sees me coming in my freaking Ultima with like ball tires.
Yeah.
Like who goes to Wisconsin with ball tires?
Florida plates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, like I would be like in a full sweat, just like clenching the steering wheel. Oh my gosh. And then when I would leave work, I would have to come and like literally dig my car.
Yeah.
Like who doesn't have heated or parking lots?
Yeah, it's true.
Covered parking lots and when it's snowing like that.
It's true.
I had to dig myself out with like a sandcastle shovel.
Yeah, for real. But mind you, our apartment had heated garage. So Kim got to park there because she was, she worked.
Yeah.
And so I had the outdoor parking space.
Back when we used to have 2 cars.
Yeah. And so, I was in charge. When Kim works, that's the rule. The other person's in charge of the house. Right?
Should we do like a scenic route there and just say how we do that? Because I think it's kind of
Go
cool.
ahead.
Like when you're traveling as a couple, one of the coolest things is that when we like right now we're both working. Yeah. That's great. We're making a shit ton of money because we're both working and that's great. But there's times where we're both not working. So if Aaron's taking a contract, I stay home and I'm like the housewife. Which basically means I take care of everything. I'm going to cook dinner. I'm going to clean. I'm going to pack lunches. You're basically taking care of the other person. Going to the store. You do everything.
Laundry.
So the other person, all they have to do is go to work and come home, and that's it. Everything else is done.
It's a great gig.
It's a great gig. And so when I was in Wisconsin, I was working, and this was the first time you had ever been a house husband.
Domestic God.
Yes, sorry. Excuse me. Domestic God. And I feel like you have missed your calling.
Yeah.
You were like, I would come home and there would be like a chocolate on my pillows and my jammies laid
literally
out.
Not saying like, literally there would be like a little chocolate on your pillow.
Chocolate on my pillow.
No, for you to enjoy when you got home.
With my jammies laid out.
Yeah.
Like, you went above and beyond, and all I had to do was go to work and like sit there for 12 hours because I didn't do anything and like research our trip to Europe and then come home and you treated me like a queen.
Yeah, dinner was always just coming off the stove.
And then you would give me like a massage and a happy ending
and
every night.
It was really cool because Janesville, that was nice. Janesville had really no restaurants either. So everything was cooked. We cooked everything.
Yeah.
So which is going to lead to a story, one of our favorite stories. But I did want to say that not only was it my first time not working a contract, it was literally my first time having 3 months off since I was going through school.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah, I feel like your fingers hurt from playing a lot of video games.
Video games, a lot of napping, a lot of playing the guitar.
Yeah.
I started writing.
Yep.
But then that's leading to this whole thing too. Like, it was allowing me to realize the most valuable thing in life is time, right? And a lot of us get so busy and so busy and so busy that we actually don't take the time to really think about what things light you up in life. And that was the first time. One, it was weird because I understand why they put people in solitary confinement. To be in Janesville, Wisconsin in the middle of winter, negative 22 degrees and big storms. Yeah. I was trapped in that little apartment with nothing to do for the first time in my life. I'm surprised I made it out alive. Like, there was a lot of conversations with Gibbs about, like, what do I do? I can't stop hearing the thoughts in my head. Like, I'm pacing around this apartment. Like, I don't know what to do. So, yeah, it really... A lot came up, but now it's like I cherish that. Like, I can't wait for you to go back to work and me not have to work.
Yeah.
I'm super excited for that.
And I think that's such an important, like, side note for that is that we as humans work, right? We get lost.
That's what we've been programmed to think is right.
And we get lost in our grind, our daily grind. And it's like... You wake up, you go to work, you come home, you cook dinner, you go to the gym, you do whatever.
Kids.
Like, we all have our systems that we get into every single week and our schedules that we follow. And there can be so much, like, it consumes so much of our brain because we're just going through it. We're always thinking, okay, what's the next step? What are we doing here? What's going on? That we get lost in that, and that becomes our new normal. Like, that's how a lot of people just, like, go through life every single, like, that's their normal. But when you can actually take some time, like you were able to do for the first time ever, I was able to do when I was in Atlanta, and have that space for yourself to be like, wow, holy crap, what do I actually like to do? What would I want to do with all of this free time? Or how do I feel? What thoughts are coming up? Like, what's up with me? Like, you have all of this space to actually tune in and connect with yourself. And I think it's such a beautiful gift. If you have the time that you can take it.
And I mean, it's not only that of just like being able to experiment with things as well. And I think a lot of people, I mean, and you take the time now where if we're not busy, we're throwing ourselves in our phones, our devices. Like we if we go on vacation, we're keeping ourselves busy. Like, you're still distracted, right? Yeah. I'm not working. I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. There's nothing else I can do. So most people, I feel like, waste that opportunity. And that's one thing that I leave, and I was really proud of myself for not. I could have easily just stayed in the video game world and took naps all day and watched SportsCenter. Like, very easy. But I knew that that's not what I wanted to do. I needed to really utilize this time because the time was ticking before I had to go back to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Cool. Okay.
So anyway,
that was just a side note.
That was. But what's funny is one of the funniest stories, because we were just saying, like, what are some funny stories that have happened on our travels? And that's what led us to Janesville, Wisconsin, because a lot of the stories came from there. But I would have to go to the store and do my duties. And a lot of times it would be snowing or freshly snowing. And so I would always be safe. Don't get me wrong. Like, I don't want you guys to think I was just some, like, renegade out there, like, going crazy. But
wait, can I set this up for a second? Yeah. Because Aaron had a rear wheel drive pickup truck.
I'm glad you said that.
Yes.
Because I can't say rear wheel.
It's very hard. I really had to think about it.
Yeah.
Rear wheel drive. And we didn't get the memo until
late
in the game from people I worked with that when you have a pickup truck, you need to put something heavy like
kitty
cat
litter
or whatever back there to hold down the weight. So we never got that memo.
No.
And it was a stick shift.
Correct.
Okay.
So not what you want to be driving in Wisconsin, right? No. So then to even set the story even more, we lived on a main highway, and then there was a stoplight, and then you'd come through the stoplight, and then you had to make a hairpin turn up a hill, right? So it was a pretty steep grade, like a 7%.
Oh yeah, it was
like
high.
Hill.
It was like straight up.
It was straight up, and again, it's not like you just drove straight into it. You had to make the hairpin turn and get up the hill.
Yeah.
Right? And so I would go to the store, I'd be fishtailing, and, you know, I'm figuring out, so I'm loving it. I'd put on some music, and I felt like I was back in Florida off-road, like, just, you know, fishtailing and, like, being able, like, ooh, I'm a good driver in the snow.
Like mudding?
Yeah, pretty much. And so I go to the store to get some salad dressing because I forgot salad dressing for Kim's salad. That had to be perfect. Mm-hmm. And so I come in, I make my hairpin turn, and I notice that the roads are plowed, but our hill is not plowed. Mm-hmm. Come to find out, it was privately owned, so they don't plow it. The city doesn't plow it. It's up for the apartment complex to do that. Well, they hadn't done it, and we got dumped on the night before.
Yeah.
So I make my hairpin turn, and I try to get up the hill, and I thought I had it done. I basically get stuck halfway up the hill in my truck, and now I don't know what to do. So I made it to where it was even worse that I got myself pinned up against the corner of the,
That's humiliating.
Yeah, up against the, what do you call it? Like the
bank.
The bank, yeah. Right? So now I'm pinned there. So I'm sitting there and I don't know what to do, right? So I'm trying to call Kim. I don't know what happened. Maybe you took a nap or something. Probably. But you weren't answering. So I turned and all I had was a spackle. You know those spackle things that you use for your walls? Yeah. I had a 99-cent spackle thing that I was using to clean the ice off my window. So I thought, well, what do you do in the mud when you get stuck? You have to dig yourself out. So maybe that's what I have to do. So now I'm out on the side of this road. Ended up being 3 hours I was out there. I'm using this little tiny spackle thing to try to clean the road. So I was trying to plow the road myself with a tiny spackler. So now my hands are frozen off. I don't know what to do. I'm starting to kind of panic. People are passing me in little Toyota Corollas and like flying up the hill and laughing at my like Florida license plate. And
who wouldn't stop to help? Like, that's just mean.
I agree.
That's just mean.
So basically after a couple hours of scraping, getting back in my car, turning on my heater, letting my hands thaw out, getting back out, scraping my wheels, trying to figure this out, one of the plow guys is coming home for a break and he lives at our apartment complex. So he sees me and he's like, you need some help? And I'm like, yes. He was just this God's gift at that time because I was running out. Like, I felt I was naked and afraid. I didn't know what to do. And I thought about just leaving my truck there and walking home.
That's what I would have
done. I know, but then like my truck's left there and who knows. So he hooks me up and has to literally plow the road and tow me all the way back to my apartment, not just up the hill. So now I'm just like fishtailing and driving. It was crazy
I feel
story.
Like I came home from work and I like was behind you guys.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, like because you had been calling me and I was like, you know, watching a movie or something while at work, and I left and I came home and I was like, I pulled in. I was like behind you.
I think did you go and find the plow guy? Something happened.
I don't know. I was behind you and he was like pulling you up and I'm like. You were, like, driving and, like, waving, like, as he was just, like, pulling you. And you had, like, a beanie on and, like, goggles. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. And, like, your shovel. And
I had, like, necrotic fingertips.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, what is going on? And so then, like, and then because he was plowing, so then I was able to drive up perfectly. Oh.
Your car and your Altima.
Well, the funny thing was... I had gotten stuck so many times and I would just sit and like burn freaking rubber. My tires were so bald. I had no tread on my tires.
Babe, we had just put new tires on your car.
No.
Bet me. Bet me.
We got tires when we left Wisconsin.
Wrong.
Because we blew out on the way.
No.
Okay. Hold on. Let me finish my point.
Oh, you're right.
I know I'm right.
You're right.
I know.
You're right.
That's a whole other story.
You're right.
My tires blew out.
On the way to California. Yeah. You're right. Okay.
I know I'm right.
Okay.
So, and the reason why they blew out is because I would sit and spin my tires and burn so much rubber that there would just be smoke, like a plume
That's
of
kind of
smoke.
smart, though, because you melted the snow.
Like, the plume of smoke would just be, like, follow me, like, oh, Kim's here. Like, just be smoke. Like, the worst thing you can do is to burn your rubber like that. It won't get you out.
And you might end up, what if it catches and then you take off? Like, you wouldn't know what to do. That's how you wrecked the scooter.
That's terrifying.
I know.
You just start.
Like,
Dude, that was like high intense driving. Okay, for 240s.
And on top of that, you were only going 0.2 of a mile. You think you'd have been safe.
If there's people listening to this that are like used to driving in snow, they're gonna think we're like total morons. But can we remind you, we're from Florida. Like this was all new to us. I had never driven in snow in my entire life.
No.
Or ice. Or any of that.
No.
So so I had burned out all of the rubber, and then when we left, we were driving to California from Wisconsin, and we were like coming out. Of course, Aaron tows we were a mess in the beginning, but Aaron using his pickup truck that was the same size as my Altima.
Yeah, no, I had a Nissan Frontier. The old style Nissan Frontier.
Yeah, it was a small truck.
Yeah, it was. I called it my sister's truck.
It was a small little truck.
Yeah. Well, mind you, where I'm from in Florida, they always said if you can see over your truck, it's not a real truck.
Yeah. Because they have those like massive trucks with like the balls on them.
The balls on them.
Like the steel balls or whatever.
Okay.
It's like so tacky.
Yeah.
Okay, anyways. We're like pulling out. Aaron's towing me. And like my tires all like popped.
No, we were going to get the hitch.
Oh yeah.
And all your tires
popped.
blew.
I'm like, what the heck? It wasn't even snowing. It was spring at this point.
We were going down the side road and all your tires blew, so we had to put all 2 of your rear Well, it was your rear tires, imagine
all
that.
Burning out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny.
That was right before we headed to California. We just got back from Europe and had no money.
Yeah, so we went to Europe. So basically my time spent at that contract, we had a computer lab. I did air quotes, you can't see it. A computer lab, because we all carried phones. And if an order came through, it would, come through the phone. And so I would go out to the computer lab and I was researching our trip to Europe. We had never been like anywhere like that before. It was like our first big international trip.
Yeah.
Like we had been to the Dominican, been to Mexico.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
I'd never been to Mexico.
Right. But it was like we'd been to the Caribbean, but it wasn't like this was our first big trip.
Yeah, it's huge.
And so I would like spend all of my time researching like all of my favorite things. And so I planned this like huge trip. We leave and go. We basically spent all of our money. And we come home, broke as a joke, pretty much.
Had to go to the most expensive place in the world.
So we're going out to San Francisco, Pacifica, which is right outside San Francisco.
Well, we never even really got into why we like Janesville.
Okay, can I just finish this?
Okay.
We'll go back. And so, okay, this is my whole point of what the story I was telling. So then we're driving out to California, and Aaron is once again towing my car, and we're going through the Sierra Nevada mountains that are massive.
And beautiful.
And terrifying. Aaron has no brakes. We have to keep filling the brake fluid up. And we're like... And he's towing my car that weighs more than his truck. So we're like...
Yeah, so it's pushing me.
Yeah, we're basically flying down the mountains going 100.
Really safe.
No brakes. I'm screaming and crying.
No, literally screaming. And I'm like, babe, look how pretty this is. And you're like, get your eyes on the road!
Oh my gosh, that was like the most terrifying thing ever.
It really was.
Anyways, okay, why do we love Janesville?
So again, with all that being said, it was kind of fun too, because I remember I would always go get Subway from the gas station that was right across from your work, and then I would sit in there with you and all the people you worked with in the lounge for
we'd,
hours.
Watch movies and stuff.
For hours.
That was the best job.
Yeah, so that leads into exactly...
So this is why I love it, because I loved it because of the people.
Oh, 100%.
Those people were the most fun, like...
Friendliest.
Like, we had the time of our life.
Yeah.
All there was to do there, because it was snowy and cold, like...
Was to eat cheese curds.
Drink beer. You could go get a $10 bill out of the ATM, and you could drink all night.
Yep.
Like, it was so cheap.
But we went bowling. We did house parties. We had barbecues.
Oh my God. Do you remember our going away party?
We had 9 of them.
Yeah, we had a lot of going away parties.
We actually had to say, please stop throwing us going away parties.
I know.
It was insane. But it was like really cool because not only that, like just backtrack a little bit, we also found the kettlebell gym.
Yeah.
And I became really good friends with the owners of that kettlebell gym. They were like the same age. They were really inspiring, which then like...
He used to see ghosts.
Oh, he used to see ghosts. Yeah, that was funny. But anyway,
they... he had to sleep at his mom's bed. He was like 30. He had to like legit sleep with his mom because he saw a ghost.
So anyway... that was the first time we were ever really in... Can you stop, please? Can you stop, please?
They have way to call me out.
Well, just stop. It's extremely distracting.
Continue. I'm digging for gold.
Okay. So, stop. Stop.
Go.
Okay. So, that was the first time I actually... I went to that gym all the time. I actually started doing some marketing for them. I had them print out flyers and I would hand them out at the grocery stores.
Oh my God.
It was just a way to try something new and see what I really enjoyed. But I really liked what they were doing, which then led us down the path of wanting to start our own business.
They were the first people that inspired us to want to start our own business, to want to share our journey of health and fitness and how we completely transformed our own lives. And we were really into fitness at the time and really excited about what we had done for ourselves. And so they really inspired us to want to share that out. And that was the first time we had even thought about something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
and
they really cracked us open.
Yeah, they were making a big effect in Janesville,
Yeah.
which was really cool to see and be a part of. And they
them.
really opened us. I mean, I used to hang out with them every Monday night. And then they threw us a going away party where his mom was Mexican and she literally cooked she'd been cooking for a week for this party. It was authentic carne asada.
Oh, and then we had
a guacamole off.
And she won.
Yeah, she did. But she did teach us about the lemon, and she also taught us about the pits.
Yep, if you leave the pits in, then it will stop it from getting brown, which was a
quicker.
Really great tip. And then, we always used to make guac with lime, and she made it with lemon, and it was like literally the best thing I've ever had. And now I only make guac with lemon.
Yeah.
But do you remember the piñatas?
Oh, yeah, we bought a...
The girl who kept dancing.
Yeah, his daughter was doing dances.
Oh my God, like on repeat. What was that song called?
I
don't care.
I love it. Yeah.
They kept playing this song on repeat, and his daughter, who is sweet as pie, just kept doing a
little
routine.
entrepreneur too. Remember she made the duct tape purses?
Yep.
But we did a piñata filled with liquor shots.
Yep.
And then Kim and Daniel just punched it. We didn't even get to do it. You just punched it open.
We wanted to wait to do the piñata till the kids went to sleep because I didn't want any competition. I just wanted to get in there. And so we ended up ripping the piñata to shreds.
And just taking the shots out.
It was really fun.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay, so we loved Wisconsin for those reasons. And then the people I worked with were just awesome. Obviously, I loved it because it was slow. And even, again, we had never lived in in an environment like that when it comes to snow. It really is such a high maintenance way of living. When you gotta take the dog, oh my God. Okay, hold on. So you have to take the dog out in the snow, and that's a whole nother thing. And she had her booties. We bought her a little jacket. So
oh no.
Remember the story of when you took Mimi out and you ended up eating shit and falling on your back in front of all the construction workers?
Oh yeah, so they were redoing the back patios of all of the apartments there. And so I used to take Mimi out and all the construction guys. It was the one flat area that they would put all their stuff in, and then they would gather there at lunch and just hang out.
Yeah, and just to set it up, you were taking your pug out who was in a jacket and booties and a hat. And you were walking her, and they're all eating their sandwiches, looking at you.
Now mind you, Mimi's 2, so she was little. Yeah. And so I had seen that was a prime spot for people to fall. Because it was
ice.
It was ice, but it was a little hill too. So it was the worst thing you could have. And so I'm holding this pug, Mimi, and I'm walking and I eat it hard. But the thing is I held on to Mimi and held her up. and took the brunt of the fall for myself.
You're such a good dad.
And then I popped up and acted like nothing happened, and the guys were laughing, but they were like, bro, you saved the pug, bro. Like, that was amazing.
But the best part is that, like, you just pretended like it never happened.
Yeah, I was hoping they wouldn't say anything, but they're like, we saw you.
Why do people do that when you fall? Like, I do it too. Like, if you ever fall, like, you just jump up and, like, pretend nothing happened. Like, even if, like, your leg's broken or you're bleeding, you're just like, I'm fine. Like, just pretend it never existed. Like, I get so embarrassed if I
don't
fall.
know why people do that, but it is. But I'll just let you know, just a public service announcement for all of you. If any of you listeners are ever hanging out with Kim and I, and if Kim falls, if you fall, I will laugh. Like, it's just guaranteed.
I'm a laugher.
When people fall, I laugh so hard. I think it's the funniest thing ever. And that might be wrong in somebody's eyes. I will see if you're okay, but I will be laughing as I'm checking on you.
I'm always going to laugh.
Oh, it's hilarious. I can watch videos of people falling. It kills me.
When I was in high school, we were walking down the stairs in our school, and we were with our friend Tay. Oh, just because her name's Tay, it makes it funnier. But we were walking down the stairs, and she, like, lost her balance. She's like, whoa, whoa, and, like literally bounced down, like, the entire, like, flight of stairs, like, flipping and, like, bouncing, and, like, I was screaming at the top of my lungs, laughing, like, so hard because it was, like, in slow motion.
Oh, it always is.
Oh, she slipped on a pencil.
Oh, okay.
It can't get better than that. So Tay slips on a pencil and bounces all the way down the stairs screaming. I'm laughing. Everybody's just surrounding her laughing as hard as possible. Like, not in a mean way, but just, like, it was so funny.
Yeah.
And then she, like, pretends like nothing happened, even though, like, we all saw what happened. And then she ended up coming to school the next day in a boot because she'd broken her toe.
Oh my
Tay
God.
broke her toe. But I'll never forget that. Like, I just laughed so hard. I was like, I was trying to be like, are you okay? But I just couldn't.
Right.
I feel like everybody's so nervous when someone's falling. Everyone's like, in laughter.
Well, I think you realize that if it was you falling, again, you act like nothing happened, right? Until somebody sees it or whatever. But my mom fell in Washington, D.C. on our 8th grade trip.
Oh my God.
She tripped over the curb, and as she's going down, it was like slow motion. She goes, Aaron! And boom! And so because of that, I was laughing. Yeah. But because we got to go in early because mom fell, so it was kind of a benefit. But everybody said she screamed like I was going to turn around and like fall down and like let her land on me. And, yeah, anyway.
She was scared.
That's a super side note.
All right. I don't know. I don't really feel like I have anything else to say. I just feel like...
I just think if you really look at like how we felt with everything that went on, the people there, the experiences we had, the fact that you and I did not want to go there and what that turned out to be is a huge lesson in just life in general, right? Mm-hmm. Like, if you try to control everything in your life, you're never going to be open to those times that you're supposed to go into, that you're supposed to experience, that you would be closed off to, that could end up being life-changing.
Yeah, 100%. So, staying open. Yeah, staying open on the road, man. Like, again, it wasn't this big city. There wasn't tons of hiking. It wasn't this beautiful place where there's all these cool outdoor places.
It is in the summer.
Right, that's true. But it was such a cool experience because of the people. Honestly, it always goes back to the people.
We even lived like 30 minutes from the train that took you into Chicago.
Oh, yeah, we went to Chicago.
We got to go to Chicago. Like, it was
Chi-Town.
We always wanted to go to the Glens. Was that what was it?
Oh,
We never went. Was it the Glens?
No.
Yeah.
The Glendales.
No, you're making that up. Anyway.
The Wisconsin Dells.
The Dells. We always wanted to go to the Dells, and we never went.
Made it, though.
I wanted to go to Milwaukee, too. We never went.
Yeah, what losers we are. But Madison was there. Madison's like a really,
I loved
cool
Madison.
Town. But yeah, just keeping yourself open to all possibilities because...
Speaking of Floridians, remember when I first time to Madison, we were walking around and it was like a ghost town.
Like ballet
Kim was wearing ballet slippers and we had to cut our trip short. and go sit in a coffee house because Kim's toes were frozen off.
No, they were literally frostbitten. Like they were black.
Who wears ballet slippers
with no socks?
With no socks and jeans and negative 22
and
degrees.
Walking through the snow, so my feet got wet. Okay. I couldn't even walk.
We were a hot mess.
I couldn't even walk to like a restaurant or anything.
No, I had to carry you.
It was so bad. But then we went to Das Boot.
That was another night out.
No,
that was not the same night.
But we drank the beer out of those big boots.
Yeah,
that
but
was so much
what
fun.
I thought was funny was our hotel was 0.2 of a mile from Das Boot and from the comedy show we went to, and we're like, cool. It's like, let's walk. Literally could not walk there. Yeah. Had to run back inside and get a lift to go 0.2 of a mile.
That's true. Yeah. Man, it was cold.
A lot of cool experiences.
We checked that box.
Yeah.
Like, we do not want to live in a place that has extreme winter like that. But it's funny what you adjust to because it was always negative. And when it got to...
like 40.
Yeah, like 40 or 50, we're like, woohoo! Like,
shorts
let's
on.
wear shorts. Like, it's so beautiful. It's so nice. Like, we went down to the park and we were practicing Italian and it was like 50 degrees and we were in shorts. We're like, it's so beautiful.
Well, shorts, but it was sunny. I think that's the biggest thing.
It was sunny. But, like, Wisconsinites, like, they know how to party, man. Like, they're like, they know how to get down.
That's the first time I've ever seen when people are like, hey, do you want shots? And I was like, cool. I was thinking they were going to bring, like, 10 shot glasses. They literally brought the entire shot shaker.
Oh, yeah. They don't mess around.
No.
But if you ever go to Wisconsin... Their one of their drinks, or at least where we were living, their go-to drink was called apple pie.
Homemade apple pie,
and it's made with Everclear,
which is illegal in a lot of states.
It is so delicious. It puts you on your ass.
But what I love about it is you make the Everclear, so it's like a whole bottle of Everclear, tons of sugar, apple cider, and apple juice, and then you boil it and you put cinnamon sticks in it. But here's my favorite part. You make it when it's snowing out because after you boil it, you take the entire pot and you just put it in the snow. Mm-hmm. And that cools it off. So you put it outside in the snow. Yeah. And that was the funnest part of it.
That was amazing.
Yeah, honestly, we had like gallon jugs of it.
We had, so for our last going away party, we went to Europe, we came back. Mm-hmm. We had one more going away party with all the people that I worked with. Mm-hmm. It was so much fun. And we had apple pie. They like cooked all this food. Remember they did like
burgers, brats, everything. Everybody made their specialties.
It was like
next level.
Phenomenal. And so we're all like, and you know, they all get down, you know, again, not a lot to do.
Music, bonfire.
We were just like having the time
but it was
of
May
our life.
Too, so it was nice.
Yeah. We're all outside. We're like just listening. We're dancing. We're just like having so much fun. There's a huge fire. And you remember the percolator song? And it was like, I don't even remember how it goes. It's like the percolator. And one of our friends' husband, bless his heart, got so excited when this song came on. He like jumped up and like ran and was like percolating like all the way to the fire.
But he tried to jump over Ashley.
He tried to jump over our friend and ended up
knocking her into the fire.
Kicking her into the fire. And she somehow backflipped out of the fire and like kept percolating. And I'm like, dude, these people.
She acted like nothing happened.
Again, it goes back to like you fall. Like she pretended nothing happened and her hair was like on fire. She had burns.
That's so sad.
But she just
kept partying.
Kept percolating. And it was just like nothing had ever happened. And the guy, I don't even think
he felt really bad.
I don't think he even knew until a little bit later. And then he was upset about it.
Yeah.
But she like came to work the next week and she had like all wrapped up and needed like wound care because she had burns all over her body.
Well, do you remember when you went to the bar in Janesville and you told everybody that you were trained dancer of Juilliard? And you guys tried to do the dirty dancing and then you fell into those people's table?
Oh my gosh.
And they were like, you're trained at Juilliard, just keep going. This is impressive.
I forgot about all that. Yeah. That was one of my finest performances.
It was.
And you would catch me.
We cleared the tables. Run. It wasn't me. It was what's their name? Man.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly and
what was her husband's name?
Oh my gosh, that sucks.
Joe. It's always Joe. He was catching me.
Yeah.
He was a phenomenal partner.
Always reliable.
That much fun. I don't think I've had a more fun assignment with just because the people, like, we just all got along and we had so much fun. And yeah, it was great. I
never expected it.
It was such an unexpected, just incredible time. I'll forever, like, if we ever go through there.
Oh yeah, stop in.
Oh yeah, 100%. So I think that's pretty much it.
That's pretty much it.
This was kind of a,
This was fun.
Storytelling with the Gibsons.
I think there's some good lessons in there too.
I do too.
Staying open to what you might...
Keep your legs open. See what comes.
Okay.
That was my takeaway.
I don't even know what to even say about that.
All right, let's sign off because I have to go wash off my mask.
All right, guys. Well, until next week, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
We will see you again on New Year's Eve, which should be really interesting. I want to come up with something really cool.
Yeah, well, let's talk about something fun.
For New Year's Eve. So, yeah, enjoy. Happy 2020. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. If you guys have gotten any value from this, please share it out. That helps us out. We would really appreciate it. We love that.
We'll see you next week.
We will see you next week.
Bye.
Deuces.